A mysterious encounter in the misty moorlands of northern England, completed with a photograph of a strange creature, a missing time episode, and possible encounter with an alien being. No, it's not a fiction. It actually happened in the year 1987, and to this day it still remains one of the most mysterious unsolved UFO encounters in the world. Welcome back to Gita Lighthouse channel. I am Gita Lighthouse. This is a channel where we shine the light to the darkest mysteries around the world. And today we are diving into Ilkley Moor alien encounter. The main witness and the main character of today's story is going to be a man that is referred to as Philip Spencer. That is not his real name. That is the alias that has been given to him because he doesn't want to come out with his personal information to the public. And he was a former police officer, very well respected, rational, and was known not to never tell any kind of lies, so a credible person. At the time of incident, Mr. Spencer had already retired from his police work and moved from the noisy London to a small village in the West Yorkshire. Moor, where the encounter will take place, is an area of moorland between Ilkley and Cayley, I hope I pronounced it correctly, that is located in West Yorkshire, England. Spencer actually moved there because he wanted to be closer to his family who was living there, and also he really enjoyed nature and long walks in the desolate moors that were surrounding the village. On the morning of December the 1st, year 1987, he set out pretty early, and his main goal was to visit his father-in-law who was living in Eastern Morton. So the shortcut would be through the Ilkley Moor, and on his way he also thought that this could be also a really nice chance not to take the camera and take some really nice nature photos. As it was an early morning, it was still dark and quite misty outside. So besides his camera, he also took with him compass just in case the fog comes and he cannot orient himself where he is. So he was a really smart man by taking also the compass. While moving through the mist and going up on a small hill, he noticed something that stopped him. A small, odd-looking humanoid creature, roughly 4 feet tall with a greenish tinge to its skin, a large head, and long arms. It seemed to be gesturing at him. Spencer would describe the gesture that this humanoid was showing as somewhat like, stay away, don't come closer. But instead of staying away, he actually took his camera and snapped a photo of that creature. And after that, this creature started to run away. Led by an enormous curiosity, probably this was coming because he's like a policeman and he is naturally curious and wants to investigate, he started to run after this creature. But this creature was so fast, and at one point he lost that creature in the fog. After that, something even stranger happened. He saw a metallic, dome-shaped object rise from behind the treetops, and that object would really have a high speed and disappear very quickly in the sky. He described the craft as being of a whitish color, and it consisted of 2 saucer-shaped parts that were attached, with one being on top of another. He also recalled hearing a loud humming noise. Unfortunately, Spencer did not take a photo of the craft. Next, he started to pay attention to his compass, and what he noticed was that the compass was really spinning wildly, as if something anomalous was happening. And in a bit of shock, he kind of decided that he's gonna not continue the route that he has decided to make towards his father-in-law's house, but he's gonna take another route that's gonna take him less time, for around 30 minutes or so, and go to the nearest village. Once he reached the destination, he noticed that he had arrived there 2 hours later than it would normally take. So he lost some time and did not remember where he was or what happened during that time. Now, back to the photo that Mr. Spencer took. It was literally eerie. Now look at it. Though it's grainy and blurry, you can certainly see that there is some kind of humanoid figure staying there across the moor. After this encounter, Spencer immediately contacted UFO researchers by the name of Jenny Randles and Peter Hugh. I hope I pronounced the surname correctly. So both of these people were really respected UFO researchers and also into researching paranormal things. At first, we're kind of suspicious over what Spencer was telling, but the more they looked into this case, the more they did not see a reason to doubt what Spencer was saying. And at the end, Spencer also presented the photo. The photo was sent to several experts. A wildlife photographer who examined the photograph said that it was not from any kind of known animal that he was seeing there on this picture. And also it was sent to Kodak Lab, who were trying to find some kind of signs of tampering of the photo, but they couldn't find any, so they confirmed that the photo is legit. Also, an expert named Bruce Maccabee, who was a U.S. Navy optics expert and ufologist, looked at the photo, and he concluded that the photograph was too grainy for proper testing. All in all, what we can conclude from this is that nobody tampered the photo. It is legit. It is original. And there is something depicted on it, and nobody can literally say what it is. So who knows what it is? For many UFO enthusiasts, this was the first time when possibly there has been an alien captured on a photograph. The story did make some headlines, but not a huge ones, since Mr. Spencer was really humble. He didn't want a lot of attention, hence the fact that he wanted to change his name when he was sharing this story with the public. All in all, while you are probably hearing about this story for the first time on my channel also, this story is not very well known. But this is possibly the first real photo of a real alien. So what happened? Why is this not something like making huge headlines or becoming viral? Well, some believe that the story actually was suppressed. According to ufologist Nick Redfern, Spencer was reached out and silenced by the Ministry of Defense a few days after the incident on the moor. He says that they opened a file on Spencer and sent 2 men in black to his home to intimidate him into silence. Now, this can actually be true because we already know how many stories ended up like that. This is a common thing that sometimes happens when people see something or experience something and afterwards they are silenced by the authorities. And the fact that if, let's say, Spencer was silenced by authorities, just allows us to fill this gap on our own and make theories about what really happened on that day in the moor and what did he really see and captured on the camera. And indeed, Spencer became very silent. He didn't give any interviews afterwards, so there were a couple at the beginning, but afterwards, abruptly, everything ended. And he withdrew himself completely from the UFO stage. Was it because he was asked to do so, or was it because he detested the attention? Remember, he did move from London to a small village to be with his family and maybe in silence, but would this be the wisest way how to go about the situation, considering what you saw? Even though he didn't give a lot of interviews afterwards, what is known though from the sources is that a little bit after this encounter, Spencer started to have some weird dreams. And following some UFO experts' advice, he decided to undergo hypnosis just to kind of fill in the missing puzzles of the time that he didn't remember. Remember, he went to the village that was supposed to take him half an hour, but it took him 2 hours. And also maybe the hypnosis will help him to understand these nightmares that he was having now. And this, my friends, is where the story becomes even more interesting. Spencer underwent something that is called regressive hypnotherapy. It was carried out by a person named Jim Singleton, and it took place on March 16, 1988. And while being under this hypnosis, a whole another story was unveiled. Spencer now recalled that upon seeing the creature on the hill, he was instantly paralyzed. He was then lifted up a few feet and pulled into a craft. When he entered the craft, a voice told him to be calm. A group of green aliens then performed medical experiments on him, inserting items into his nose and mouth. He was also given a tour of the craft and, this sounds a bit funny, shown a film. The film showed apocalyptic imaginary, including nuclear explosions, famines, and floods. Spencer was then shown a second film. He has never revealed the contents of the second film, saying that the aliens who abducted him do not want humanity to know. Some sources mention, and it is alleged, that after this hypnosis, the researchers together with Mr. Spencer returned back to the moor to explore the spot where he allegedly saw the humanity that he captured on the camera. And now, once he was standing there, he started to think that maybe the gesture that the humanoid or the alien was showing him was not really stay away, but actually goodbye, like them saying goodbye after all of this experience and like experiments on him. Does it make sense? Kinda, right? Ufologists from the UK and even the US took notice of this event. Nick Pope, a former investigator for the UK Ministry of Defence, mentioned the case in interviews, calling it one of the Britain's most compelling. The photo remains in circulation among UFO researchers and is discussed very widely for those who know about the case. Okay, guys, this story is so wild, really. Like, once I found it, I thought, like, I immediately have to tell you this story. But, as always on my videos, I'm gonna ask the question, can this story be debunked or explained in some kind of rational way? Skeptics, of course, have their own theories. Some say it was a person in a costume. Others call this case a complete hoax. But no one has been able to, like, completely explain the photo. The thing that there was part of a time missing in a person's life. And also why the compass was acting so strangely. And Philip Spencer, he vanished like completely from the public view after this case. His real identity has never been revealed. So is he a real person at all? He gave just few interviews and then disappeared. I already mentioned the two possibilities, what would have probably happened. Like the first, he was silent. Second, he didn't want to be public. But definitely he was not striving for some kind of fame or attention. Because he did not even earn anything from the story, not even from this photo, because he actually stole the copyright of this photo to one of the UFO researchers he was working with. So what I am concluding about this person, I'm kind of believing that this Mr. Spencer really was telling something that he thought he saw or he actually saw. Remember, he was a police officer. He was some kind of like humble person. And why would he lie? He was quite honest, in my opinion. So he was just telling the story, like telling also to others, and trying to understand what really happened in that morning. Now, from my perspective, he experienced some there, okay? But I'm not sure if it really was something alien, and I'm not really relying on this hypnosis that he underwent. That part, that is kind of shady for me, but the initial story, there was something. So let's try to have some options of what he might have seen. It is worth mentioning that Ilkley Moor is already known for paranormal activity. Legends speak of strange lights, mysterious disappearances, and even phantom figures seen in the fog. Could it be a hotspot, a portal, a thin place between worlds? You know, like in the TV show Outlander. And to create this kind of understanding of this place and the mystery surrounding it for you, I'm just gonna mention some legends, okay? So there is a small stone circle there called the 12 Apostle Stone Circle. It is really shrouded in mystery. Some believe it was like an ancient site of rituals. Others believe that it has some kind of supernatural powers. And this is why you can see some paranormal or mystery beings occurring there. There, historians have found also rocks with weird carvings on them, for example, swastika stone. All of the carvings are believed to be dating back to Neolithic or Bronze Age. Also, there are legends from the beginning of the 19th century. For example, in the 1815, there were reports of fast-moving little folk in green attire near a well of Ilkley Moor. These fairies were said to inhabit the village bath and would flee when discovered. So, the legend of the little green fairies or little beings was already there long time ago before this actually happened. So, could this be the case of Mr. Spencer seeing a little green fairy? Or maybe the people, the ancient people, took the aliens to be fairies? Let me know your thoughts. I also went a little bit into a little rabbit hole on Reddit and read what people are saying about this photo, and the most common thing that people were attacking Mr. Spencer for the fact that he had a shitty camera and the photo is really grainy and you cannot tell anything from that. As far as my research and reading went, Mr. Spencer used a single lens reflex camera but could not find any kind of name of the particular camera's model. It allegedly was loaded with a high-quality film. Also, needless to say, the foggy conditions made things worse and the humidity wasn't very close. He was quite a distance away, so the graininess can be understood in the picture. Also, another thing is that whenever people speak about this case and this encounter, what comes up as first is that the photo is authentic. And immediately people subconsciously, because probably they want to see it like that, they think about the fact that the word authentic means that it confirms that you can see an alien on that photo. Well, no, actually the word authentic means that the photo has not been altered. It is authentic, meaning nobody has used Photoshop or anything else to make it look like there is some kind of being on that photo. And so this is one of those cases that still remains unexplained. A real photo, it has been confirmed, and also a credible witness. There is no reason not to believe him. But come to think of it, the real identity of Spencer has never been revealed. And I can imagine also a plot. I'm just thinking logically, I'm always like that. A plot where this story was actually invented as a marketing stunt to probably attract more people to the area because, the Ilkley Moor is already an interesting spot. For example, just reading about the legends and stone circles and the carvings on the stones, I would like to visit that place. And this would probably used as a nice marketing stunt serve to a certain benefit to attract even more tourists. But this is just my logic thinking. I don't know, but because I really want to believe that he saw someone there. Anyways, what you have to know is that this story has never been seriously debunked. The story just exists, and to my surprise, not so many people actually know about it, although this is too interesting to not tell, because possibly the first photo of alien. Is it? No? And so, this is what happened in Ilkley Moor in the year 1987. Let me know your thoughts about this story. First of all, tell me if you have heard about that. I would also be very happy to hear from some kind of person who actually lives there. I don't know if this video is gonna reach some person living there. Do you believe it was an alien or was it something else, or you have some other explanations? Let's discuss this in comments. I'm really curious to know your opinion. And at the end of the video, again, as usual, I would like to encourage you to interact with the video. Press those likes, again, write those comments, make sure you have subscribed, share this video with everyone who would be really interested to hear this or any other story on my channel. And yeah, oh, of course, I have also Patreon, so if you want to support me financially, you are very much welcome to do that. My subscribers at Patreon see my videos earlier than the ones on YouTube, and they also get a shout out. That being said, shout out to David Craig, my first and so far only Patreon of my channel. I hope you have a lovely day. And yeah, just stay curious. Now and then check the sky and probably see what's in front of you. You know, you never know. Maybe sometimes you're going to see an alien in front of you, you know. Take a camera, take a picture. All right, this is Gita signing off of her lighthouse. See you next time.